Yes! I fucking did it! Yes! Yes! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh. Oh my fuck! Oh. Okay, so there's like a 5-minute monologue for the rest of this video, so if you don't want to listen to me talk about my thoughts and experiences with this level, then you can just leave the video now. You know, I shouldn't even be doing a monologue on this level right now. Not because I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I did it. No, it's more like, I was never supposed to be going for this level, and I actually never intended to go for this level ever. I'm actually supposed to be playing the Golden right now, but that's a story for another time. I only went for this because I had just come fresh off of beating Blade of Justice, and it was my favorite level, and I wanted to see what this was like. To give you an idea of what this level is like, take everything about Blade of Justice and amplify it tenfold. That's basically what this is like. Everything that I loved about Blade of Justice is now infinitely better in almost every way. Notice how I say almost, because unfortunately, all of this amazingness is accompanied by what is possibly my least favorite difficulty balancing in any level I've ever beaten. The balancing in Blade of Justice only works because it's not so hard that you get trapped in the pre-drop for several minutes on end. Edge of Destiny, on the other hand, is the exact opposite of that. Now, I'm not going to blame the creators of Edge of Destiny for this, because the people who truly deserve to be thrown under the bus here are Manix and Laser Blitz for making the most excruciatingly painful first third of a level of all time. I hate the first third of this level so much that I don't even want to get into it, and would rather spend my time talking about the rest of the level. After the first 36% of atrocious gameplay, you have this random mega impossible cube part with some timings that are literally near frame perfect on 360. Getting a single shred of consistency on the first 36% of this level is already really, really hard, and then following that with a timing section that is basically a complete 50-50 gamble is brutal. The second half of this level is a complete contrast though, as it's much easier as well as it being very fun and satisfying to pull off, especially the UFO at 60. The only complaints I have with the second half is that the waves and the swing copter are stupidly easy to die to, even when you're just a slight bit nervous, but I'll just chalk that up to my skill issue. Now, it may sound like I hated playing this level, but I didn't. In fact, I still absolutely love this level. On paper, this is actually my favorite level of all time easily. But because of my experience with this level, I literally have to make a category in my descriptions now that separates my enjoyment on the level from how good I think the level actually is. Speaking of my experience with this level, I had a really fucking rough time. I mean, if you know me, then you should have seen this coming because at this point, it's tradition. When I started playing this, I felt like I was kind of obligated to spend all of my free time only on this level. I don't know why, but because of that, I've played this level for like 2 to 4 hours a day for 3 weeks straight. And let me tell you, those were the longest 3 weeks of my life. To make matters worse for me, I was getting pretty stressed about 2.2 dropping at any given moment because I was scared that I would play much worse with 2.2 physics. So I decided, in the middle of my already most intense grind yet, to give myself a time limit and beat this before 2.2. And this is the exact moment I shot myself in the foot because for the remainder of my time playing this level, I was just frustrated as fuck. I was forming mind blocks on random points in the level that prevented me from progressing like how I imagined I would've. I rarely ever develop mind blocks in this game, but this was just a complete different experience from anything I ever expected. It was only in the last 4 to 5 days of this grind that the mind blocks had finally disappeared. And when they disappeared, I got so consistent at like every single part that I wasn't even getting mad over swing copter deaths because I just got there so frequently. And then I got 95%. That death at first didn't mean much to me, but as a bit more time passed by, it was destroying my mental since it seemed as though I couldn't get back to the ending for whatever reason. I was absolutely like just miserable. And it could have very well destroyed me so much more had I not beaten it literally the next day. Overall, despite everything, this is my favorite level of all time easily. It's really weird to think that at the start of the year when I had just come back to the game, that my hardest was a low extended list level, and that was my only level left on the list that I'd beaten. And now, only 9 months later, I have already beaten my first top 20 now. Just thinking about how I've beaten a level harder than Tartarus now is fucking nuts to me, because I was around in the community for its entire number 1 reign, and I've always thought of it as like this big untoppable level. I'm not done going for new hardest though. I still have much more left in the tank, and maybe someday I'll get my first top 10 completion. But for now, this is a big stepping stone for me.